Hey, egg suckers! It's a me, Hamish.
And it's a me, David, and welcome to Super Mario Moment.
The show where we marathon through every morsel of the Mario multiverse, and we have traveled to the far-flung alternate dimension of Dino Hatton today, as we finally discuss 1993's cult classic, Super Mario Bros. And we are joined by an extra special guest, a multi-award-winning writer whose work spans everything from the life of Jesus Christ to the Avengers Academy. We are joined by PhD culture critic dumpster racoon, Anthony Oliveira.
Hello.
Anthony, oh, Goomba already.
Going, gang?
Boomba.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited about this excellent film. One of the greatest films ever made. Absolutely.
Well,
it was a film that was made. Yeah.
We are actually recording this on Oscar night. So I think, if any film makes it onto the Wikipedia article for worst films ever.
No, this is one of the greatest Oscar snubs in cinema history. This movie. Yes, it has several Oscar winners in it behind the scenes. So I don't know what's wrong with the Academy. It really missed this one.
And several Oscar winners touched it at various stages of development, and we are going to talk about it all. But before we do, Anthony, tell our audience everything you can about you.
About me? Oh, no. Cancer on the cusp of Leo, which I understand means, I'm very shy and moody, but I love attention, which is correct. They've nailed it, unfortunately. I'm a writer. I depending on who your listener is, they may know my comic book work. I've done some indie stuff. I did Steven Universe for a minute. I did, and I did some Marvel stuff. Some Marvel stuff is coming up. I also, as you mentioned, have a PhD in 17th century literature. I do a podcast called The Devil's Party, which kind of looks at classics of literature from a queer scholarly lens. I wrote a book
as we are doing today.
Yes,
Same podcast.
There's a lot of they were thinking about it. They were thinking about fairy tales and St. George, and I believe that at the heart of Super Mario is St. George and the Dragon. I think that is the myth
I love it.
That this is about. I think that this film specifically understands, as no other Super Mario project has, how important Catholicism is to the heart of Super Mario. There's a lot of Catholic imagery that happens in this film, which we should talk about.
Right from the jump as well.
Yeah, and I host a film program called Dumpster Raccoon Cinema here in Toronto, which is about camp, like my favorite animal, the raccoon. It digs through the garbage of pop culture and sees if there's anything delicious to eat in there. So we did program this for my 5-year anniversary. Finally, it was one of my great white whales because the rights were so tangled up for so long. But it is one of my favorite films of all time. Absolutely. I should say, one of the recent acquisitions in our home is this over here. This is the original watercolor production design. I didn't realize we were going wide. This is my library. Hi. This is the original production design for Dino Hatton by Patrick Tatopoulos, and it is dedicated to David Snyder, the production lead on Super Mario Brothers, who also did Blade Runner. It says, "Hey David, I think you should own this one. Patrick Tatopoulos." Tatopoulos must be.
That is a fantastic get, Anthony. What an incredible piece of art to have.
It's dated February 27th, 1992. And it says Super Mario Brothers, The World. It is a beautiful, and it tells you, it's hard to zoom in on this. I could move the laptop, but it is basically that enormous set that dominates this film. And you can see they were thinking even at this early stage about the 3 levels of it, the sort of the arcade level, the street level, and then the catwalk that becomes our final battle sequence here, and then the strange reimagining of New York that lingers above it.
That's incredible.
Continuous images we get of the ruined World Trade Center in this film. Which
a little surprising to see in a modern watch.
Yeah.
I wanted you on this episode because I thought this would be appropriate for the Dumpster Raccoon brand. I kind of didn't know how completely you were the perfect guest for this.
My among other things, my handle on everything is Mia Koopa, which is a Catholic Super Mario pun. This is
excellent.
This is the base code of my personality. So
I've always suspected, and I've always been too scared to ask for confirmation because I don't want to be the loser who sees Koopa troopers everywhere.
No, absolutely, that is what I'm going for. Yeah, Mia Koopa would be, I think, my drag name if I ever did drag in any sustained way.
That's fantastic.
You would absolutely fit in Dino Hatton as well because there's some drag adjacent characters in this film for sure.
It absolutely is. I watched the director's cut last night in prep for this, and it is wild to see what they did not get away with in this movie.
Really? Oh, fascinating.
Oh yeah, it's every shot you're like, I see why they cut that, because that is a stripper dancing dressed as a dinosaur in a club that no children should ever see the inside of.
Yeah, this is the thing. I was on a different podcast recently where we were told to kind of rank the Mario movies, and no one was sort of brave enough to put this as number one because there is another one. There's this anime one that's like we both sort of enjoyed, but I do think this one is like my desert island Mario moment because you can rewatch it and just the story of its production and how this could possibly be made. It's kind of like a once in a lifetime or industry time. Like I can never imagine another company letting this happen basically ever again.
Yeah.
No. It only could be made in 1993.
And we're used to. It's funny reading reviews from the period because they're like, "Oh, what a stupid movie," and it's like this is actually like an incredibly tightly plotted film, and like no one would ever design something like it's one of the most. And I'm not joking. It is like objectively one of the most incredible sets ever made in Hollywood. It is one of the largest sets ever made in Hollywood. You couldn't build it on a soundstage. They had to rent an enormous bit, or they bought it, I don't know, the warehouse that they just built this triple level. It's a more of a feat than the Blade Runner set was. Like the same man worked on both and he said this is better. So like what do you
Wow.
To be fair, Super Mario Brothers is a bigger IP than Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep.
True.
So it
Sorry.
required I think part of the nature of why this film is the way it is and like all the actors, and there's so many stories about the kind of ineptitude of the directors and all that stuff. But I think there is something scrappy and something you only get from people who are inexperienced. That, of course, there's stories of, you mentioned that they filmed in this cement factory. They didn't really properly clean it. A lot of people were breathing in a lot of dust. Sure. It was way too hot. There's all kinds of things like that. But that is part of why I find these kinds of things so enjoyable to watch, because I love watching films where the questions of how it was made are as interesting as the film itself.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about its development. I have done lots of notes, but it seems like we have an expert here, so please chip in.
Oh, no, I assume I distantly remember all these things.
Okay.
Yes, excellent.
I mean, some of these things are hard to believe, so I had to verify them a few times. But like a few things we've covered this season, Mario was just so big in the late 80s and 90s that a film was somewhat inevitable.
Yeah.
And Nintendo were listening to pitches and offers. They did actually let Deke Entertainment make a movie if they wanted to. They did 3 seasons of TV instead. But we could have had a Captain Lou Albano Mario movie if we wanted.
That I would have taken. The other Deke I would not have.
The sort of major first offer was Dustin Hoffman attempting to purchase the rights. He wanted to play Mario. He wanted Danny DeVito as Luigi, and he wanted Barry Levinson, director of Rain Man, to direct it.
Hamish, I hate this. I hate this cursed knowledge that you've just given to me.
Now, apparently,
what was Hoffman thinking? Like, he's such a Luigi, and
he's such a Luigi.
Mario. Like, how could he not see? How blind? Not everyone gets to play Hamlet, Hoffman.
No.
You know, like sometimes you're the second bill.
Also, Luigi's the better role. Like, come on, one Luigi to another. Like, you know who you are, Hoffman.
Like, Luigi is kind of the main character of this film, right? Like, when you actually think about it, Mario doesn't have an arc in this film.
No.
Luigi he's kind of, if you didn't know what the movie was called, you would think, like, he's the sidekick in it, actually. He doesn't he already has a girlfriend, he's already established. He's just kind of annoyed for 2 hours.
He's arguably, like, the dad. I mean,
yeah.
It's interesting, and it's actually something that comes up a few times, because I think even in the Illumination films, Luigi gets, like, a little bit more of a fun storyline. I think this happens a few times when I go through this casting development. Like, also, we've talked a few times, David, on the show so far, that, like, the differences between Mario and Luigi were still a bit vague at this point. We're still in the late 80s, and their sprites are basically the same. And it wasn't till it wasn't sort of until adaptation that their differences became more clear. Like, one of them has
the cartoon, and I guess also the live action casting of the cartoon interstitials sort of made Luigi into the tall, skinny one. Is that what happened?
Yes, and that's and it started to help give him personality, but it's not the personality that we know of Luigi today, and it's certainly not Leguizamo's performance in this.
So this version didn't happen apparently because Danny DeVito's scheduling conflicts got in the way, and then Nintendo thought,
Returns, I guess, right?
I was thinking to be the Penguin. Way better choice, DeVito. Way better choice.
Dustin Hoffman also apparently was not Nintendo's vision for Mario. They also didn't believe he was good enough for the role. So the people who eventually purchased the rights were two producers called Jake Eberts and Roland Joffe. They had an independent production company called Light Motive. I think it's meant to be Leitmotif, but it's spelled Light Motive. I'm still not sure. But they came up with the idea of this alternate dinosaur world as the, like, beating heart of this idea. And that was the first thing they sort of came up with, and they presented this story pitch to Hiroshi Yamauchi, CEO of Nintendo, and he found it quite enjoyable because it was so different.
Yeah.
And even though, you know, Dustin Hoffman and, you know, Universal and Disney were all asking for, like, to buy the rights for, like, 20 million or whatever, Light Motive were asking for 2 million, and we're a completely independent company sort of outside of the studio system. They'd had successful, well-received movies. Roland Joffe had produced The Killing Fields and The Mission and like esteemed dramas and things like that. And from their point of view, the idea of getting a big IP and making a big blockbuster to help fund more independent dramas was the business idea.
Okay.
And I think from Nintendo's perspective, a smaller independent experiment was less risky than putting all their eggs in the basket of, like, a big Disney movie. Okay. So they sort of had a mutual, like, experimental kind of understanding. Nintendo got to keep all the merchandising rights and also were allowed full creative control that they ended up not using at all. And I think when we come to Illuminations movies, and they seem to be using their full creative control now. But yeah, apparently, you know, the Nintendo CEO asked Roland Joffe why we should make it with you. And he had flown to Kyoto to meet them in person. And he said, because I'm here and they're not. And he was delighted by this response and basically said, you've got the job.
Baller move.
And yeah, so they started working on a vision for the film using this dinosaur idea as a starting point. They initially wanted Penny Marshall to direct it, aka Laverne from Laverne and Shirley, who went on to direct Jumping Jack Flash, A League of Their Own, and Big, among other films.
That would have Penny Marshall has
Penny
vision.
Marshall would have killed it. Her brother would have made a fucking disaster of it, but Penny Marshall, that is a talent. Yeah. Rosie O'Donnell would have been an amazing Mario, I think.
Honestly, look, we are going to be penduluming between various films that would have made sense. And we landed on somewhere very unique and original. And obviously, after just doing Big, Penny Marshall wanted Tom Hanks for the lead role of Mario. Again, he's a Luigi.
Yeah.
Luigi.
Weirdly, though, he was like agreeing to do it and really far along, but he also had a series of box office flops lately. He was in a pre-Philadelphia slump, and they thought he wasn't right. He was box office poison, and they wanted someone a bit grittier. So
yeah, he wasn't like You Got Mail yet. He hadn't really been reinvented yet. Everyone was like, the guy from the sitcoms? No, like it's not a lead.
And we're not too far off, presumably, him like recording his lines for Woody and kind of slightly reinventing that. And again, was an animated Mario back then with Tom Hanks a better idea? Maybe. So
very lively voice, right? Like he is an excellent.
He's got a great voice.
Like, I don't know that I want to see him dressed as Super Mario, but
no.
Mario is one of the rare bear leads. Like, give it to one of our people. What are you doing?
Thank you.
Look, I think you can say a lot of things about this movie. I think they actually nailed the casting. I think he is sexiest man who's ever been on film.
Yeah.
Well, he's so sexy in Roger Rabbit, though.
I actually find him sexiest in all the behind the scenes videos where he's on set, bewildered and sweating and deer in headlights, kind of whatever I decided to do. So the first draft was written by Barry Morrow, the writer of Rain Man, the film that is referenced in almost every episode of this podcast, because it seems to be the only movie that people want to be like in the early 90s. But funnily enough, his script was considered so close to Rain Man that it was nicknamed Drain Man because it's about plumbers.
No, I can't.
And I don't know if it's surfaced online, but people have described it as like it is a brother road trip with barely any fantasy elements at all. And it's just about Mario and Luigi being plumbers on the road, going on a little odyssey.
Awful. That sounds awful.
Well, people believe that the element that stayed from that script to the final movie is this kind of brother. It's not equals. It's a brother that looks after another brother.
Yeah.
And Luigi is, I think there's probably versions when he was a bit more hard to deal with, but he's like the one that's messing up and everything.
Yeah.
They're not blood brothers, which is still the strange thing to do with a movie called Super Mario Brothers. But maybe it could have been. It's a found family movie. Let's just put it that way.
That's gay. We love that.
To list every writer that worked on this film would take up too much time. I'm going to try and whittle it through. But basically, the film kept on going from serious adult drama to kids movie to serious adult drama, like back and forth. Still when it comes out, no one's quite sure of where it's meant to be landing. The next writing team were brought on to take that script and make it a bit more Wizard of Oz and a bit more fantasy. They wanted Arnold Schwarzenegger or Michael Keaton as King Koopa. There's a little bit of concept art from this version that has surfaced around.
Schwarzenegger Koopa, let me Google that.
Here we are. Got it on the screen right now.
I hate this. I love this. I hate this. I have every feeling about this.
Okay.
So this, and here's some mushroom people. Yeah.
Oh, but that's kind of where Lena's hair came from.
That's where her hair is.
Yeah. And there's a sort of maquette of what the sets would have looked like.
Oh, Wizard of Oz. Yeah.
Wow.
Very Wizard of Oz.
I don't hate this, but it's way different than what we actually got.
Yes. And again, they kept swinging back and forth. And I think when seeing this concept art, what they wanted to do started to lock into their head, because what was popular in 1989 and when they started developing this? Batman. And then the Teenage Turtles movies, and these movies that feel very urban and dark and gothic based on colorful comic characters that kids like. It's like how when Batman was successful, we didn't get an immediate onslaught of superhero movies. We started getting like
Dick Tracy
and stuff. And so that's where they started moving the script in the next draft. And the version I just talked about, I think you're alluding to earlier, the kind of fairy tale version. They were basically doing Shrek before Shrek and doing a lot of kind of fairy tale. I mean, that's what Mario basically is. It's a princess and a dragon, but with a plumber. Like,
yeah, it's
very Shrek,
right? Like, it's like the thing that all these scripts are trying to figure out too is like Mario's on a journey, right? Like a physical journey. Like he's a knight errant. He's on a quest. Right. He goes through level and location from location. Like one of the things this film does not do is kind of that. They go to the desert for a minute, which is clearly just a Doctor Who quarry set, right? And then they're back in the city again, right? Like it's a very donut shaped, and then they're up a tower, right? Like it does kind of do it does have the mechanics of a fairy tale, but it's expensive to build a new set for every scene, right? So you have to figure out something to solve these problems. Yeah.
Well, that's what I love about your concept art, is that they knew they were going to make this world and build the set, but because they had bought this cement factory, they still had to do the skeleton. Right. They couldn't make up whatever they wanted. So you find that all the concept art has this like long streets and big pillars, because that's basically what they had. And there's a few sets in this movie, like the King Koopa's mud bath is just a hole in the floor next to some stairs they found, which they like, painted. Incredible. And there's a quote from Fiona Shaw saying that, you know, in the script I was given that was like a worm bath, and I was like, I'm not doing that. And then finding out, like, they make it cinematic, but finding out that, like, sometimes as an actor, you have to just accept, I am in a cement factory in a mud bath that is just a hole in the floor they found.
And she is so good. Like,
she's so good.
Her energy is, she does drink that worm in the nightclub scene. That is not a body double. I don't know what was in that glass, but she does drink it. So she's a goer. I didn't know you could get Fiona Shaw to say no to anything, honestly. Because it feels like if you book her, she'll do it. Like,
So we had the Wizard of Oz version. This was around the time they were trying to get Harold Ramis to direct it.
Oh my god! Wow.
He since that said that choosing no was the smartest decision of his life.
Mm-hmm. But I want to see it. I would watch that movie.
I would watch all of these. But speaking of Tim Burton and Batman, the producers started to think, well, let's find our Tim Burton. Okay. And so they were looking in atypical places like Tim Burton came from animation and production design and all kinds of things. So they're looking in those kinds of worlds, and they stumbled across a husband and wife duo by the names of Rocky Morton and Annabelle Jankel. Rocky Morton sounds like a Mario character already. So.
Truly, and honestly. I had so much trouble against that Rocky Morton mid-boss.
Yes.
Morton is one of his kids. Morton is a Koopaling.
Yeah.
And there's Morton definitely got to be someone who's a Rocky in the mix. Yeah.
Although, yes, we'll get onto Iggy and Spike later. So, by the way, if our podcast friends, female gays, want to cover this movie, it technically counts. Co-directed by Annabelle Jankel. Do you know who these people are, David?
I do not. I truly and honestly do not. Rocky Morton sounds familiar, but I've now convinced myself that Anthony is right. I am just combining Mario characters together to form this.
So, they are the co-creators of Max Headroom.
Oh my god, yes. That's why I know him.
Yeah. And it's one of those like weird things that doesn't sound right, and then you watch the movie and you're like, oh, this is completely... I mean, they can shift blame as much as they want. This is their movie. Like, this feels in the world of Max Headroom.
I mean, there's a lot of things you have to think about for the Koopa design, but Max Headroom has to be one of the things influencing that Dennis Hopper look, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, for the longest time, I've always heard about these two as like... And there's going to be some words coming from Bob Hoskins's mouth that does not paint them in the most glowing of ways. And it does seem like, obviously, production was an absolute nightmare. It's a notorious kind of disaster of a production. However, I watched a hour-long contemporary making of, on the Blu-ray DVD that I believe has only come out in the UK. This is in many ways a British film production. I'm very proud of it. And this was my first time really like seeing Rocky and Annabelle talk about the film, and I found them very charming. And while Bob Hoskins and lots of the cast, you know, I think were well within their right to sling as much mud as they could at them, they have nothing but praise to say about Bob Hoskins and his professionalism. And while obviously they never directed a film again, and you know, they've lost work because people would find out that they made the Mario Brothers movie. They don't seem as like horrible and egocentric and like crazy as everyone seems to have thought they are. Maybe it's because they're like animators from the UK and they seem like all the people I work with, and there's just a little bit of like, wasn't it funny we got to make a Mario movie that one time? But I've changed my tune a little bit on them. I think they seem quite funny.
I think they were really fighting for their vision against these attempts to script like the conditions are terrible that they were working in. Like the script was being altered out from under them. They were locked out of the editing bay. Like it perhaps some of us know the experience of large CEO executive interfering with a product all of a sudden that is not the one that they've decided will make them the money, even though it was the one they sold and that they hired an artist to make, right? And I also sympathize.
Well, and some of that's that Mario's getting bigger and bigger the longer production takes, right? Like the longer we wait to make this movie, the bigger the movie has to do because Mario's getting so big. He's driving go-karts now. Oh my god, you can't stop him.
I think it's just there's no sole villain that these kinds of stories want to have. I mean, you can blame the producers. You kind of should. They were the ones pushing, and like it's not Nintendo. I think a lot of people seemed like Nintendo were asking for big script notes. I think from what I read, they like occasionally were like maybe turn down the like Mario shooting people,
right,
and like stuff like that. But they seemed quite intrigued by what they were making in this Portland warehouse. So the producers kept on getting cold feet about everything. I'm gonna really breeze through all the different stages of other writers came on. Some writers came on to make it more cyberpunk and more Blade Runner, and they kept saying that the goal was like Ghostbusters, where it's like dark fantasy, high concept but funny blue collar protagonists. But I just like this phrase. So two writers were brought on called Dick Clement and Ian Lafrene. Ian Lafrey. Sorry. They were told to make the film more adult and have a feminist tone. I don't know where that came from, but apparently this is
the 90s, baby.
This is the version that most of the actors read when they like finally agreed to read it. Apparently, Fiona Shaw ended up saying that the script was very witty and that like none of the jokes were still like were there anymore when she kind of arrived on set. And this is the version that Rocky Morton extensively storyboarded and would like wheel out on big whiteboards and to like show the cast, and was really like meticulously sort of in control of all the character designs and stuff. And this is the version they were going to shoot, but then the producers got cold feet because they were like, why are we making an adult like strippers and nightclubs like action movie? This is Mario. Kids play Mario. Oh my God, what are we doing? And they brought on new writers to turn it back into a comedy. None of the storyboards were usable anymore. And so basically from day one of production, they were sort of making it up as they went along. They had Dennis Hopper stopped reading any of the scripts that he got given in the morning because he just knew they wouldn't be relevant by the time they got to film. He was told that he could write his own scenes, and he said, I'm not a fucking writer, I'm an actor. Iggy and Spike were told they could write their scenes, and they were like, great, let's do it.
No.
Have you seen their rap? Have you seen the rap that's in the director's cut?
I actually haven't.
So it's fun watching the director's cut and seeing the subplots that got removed. A lot of it is sexual. Like a lot of the stuff that gets cut is like the stripping stuff in the club is cut. The every instance of a kiss is cut. Like Mario and his girlfriend kiss, and they cut it. The final kiss between Luigi and Daisy is cut. But one of the subplots that takes the most cuts is Iggy and Spike. They actually start to question Koopa's reign early on, and then do a full rap number in the club where they convince all the people in the nightclub that Koopa is a tyrant, and they gang up, and then Fiona Shaw like sicks the Goombas after them, and that's why she delivers them. She says in the finished movie, like, they were fomenting like rebellion in the club. Right. That's a scene that they filmed and recorded a song for.
Wow.
You realize what our society has become? You ever get the feeling you're on automatic pilot? You're going through the motions like waves in the ocean?
That life is a series of brainless notions, and you want to feel something more than empty emotions.
When we met two plumbers
who had an idea,
they showed us the lake
and the new frontier.
Mario
and Luigi,
they know what's right.
We gotta take a stand and put up a fight.
Well, stop and think this through. It's time to get rid of
you know who. A radical development is taking place.
Iggy
and Spike will set the pace. Koopa, the party pooper. The Poopa Scoopa! Reptilians, we number in the millions!
Look at these Goombas!
Shutting us down!
The rule of force
is the rule of this clown!
Koopa!
The party pooper!
It's the case! Wake up, people! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up!
Yeah.
I'm going to put it in right now, if I can find it. I do like that they, get evolved up, and their first thing they realize is they become like anti-fascists or whatever. What
does that tell you? What does that tell you, Hamish?
So yeah, it kept going back and forth. At one point, two of the previous writers just like decided to visit set for fun, and they were instantly spotted by the producer, brought into a room and told, can you cut anything from the script? And they also ended up writing that like prologue because they did test screenings, and they were like, no one knew what was going on, so they decided to put all of the like, there's a few moments where like reveals or kind of intrigue get spoiled by like, this is the setup for this world. Or there's a moment like really early on when Toad just like says, hey, I wonder if the mushrooms everywhere are actually our old king, huh? And I'm like, that could have been a fun like reveal. So yeah, a big mess. And
the prologue is not in the director's cut. They show it. They show the dinosaurs and the asteroid, and they do not explain anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
At one point, Ed Solomon, writer of Bill and Ted, came on to like do the final joke punch up. But as I've just summarized, you have a script contributed by the writers of like Rain Man, Bill and Ted, They want to go for Ghostbusters. They want it to look like Blade Runner and be inspired by Batman from directors who've most famous for animation and creating a kind of Max Headroom special effect guy. It's a miracle that like you said, director's cut, which adds lots of stuff, but it's a miracle that the like version that made it to cinemas is tight and you can sort of follow it. I was following it.
Oh yeah, you can follow it.
That takes force, right? Like that takes the application of force, and it is unfortunate that the actors were sort of where the rubber meets the road on it. But like that's what I feel like is the narrative, is like two directors trying to hold together a production that is flying apart in every direction, right? I can't blame them.
Let's talk a little bit about someone who does blame them. Let's talk a little bit about the cast, who we ended up with. We focused a little bit on who didn't get the job, but we got to get Bob Hoskins as Mario. Yeah, he is quite famously, R.I.P. to old Bobo. The actual documentary on the DVD, they're interviewing them, and apparently they've interviewed everyone like the week after Bob Hoskins died. So they're all very like kind about him. I don't know if it's objective, like they're probably not going to be like, oh, he was a nightmare, but you know, I do think people don't seem to hold a huge grudge against him, because from all we can tell, as much as there was chaos on set and things were changing all the time, it seemed to have brought all the actors together and a lot of the crew together, and people had kind of nothing but nice things to say about each other.
Yeah, that's nice.
There is a very famous kind of quote from Bob Hoskins about this movie. He was interviewed by The Guardian, and he was asked, "What is your biggest regret?" He said, "Super Mario Brothers."
Oh.
"What is the worst job you've ever done?" He said, "Super Mario Brothers."
No.
"What is one thing you'd erase from your past?" "The Super Mario Brothers movie."
No.
He apparently took John Leguizamo aside at one point, and talking about the directors, he said, "Not all English people are like them. I promise you."
Oh no!
Wow, having to defend yourself against other Englishmen. That's rough. That's rough.
He did say he's a cunt and she's a cow, apparently, and that's just part of the story of this. He didn't like the script. He was eventually convinced to do it because basically they said, "You're like a famous actor and you're the right shape and you have a mustache." And he knew that Danny DeVito had been like offered the role at some point. He was like, "Okay, I'm him." But he had just done Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and so he had a bit of experience with special effects.
Yeah.
And this movie does have a few kind of cutting edge CG special effects going on at times.
Yeah.
I have one other little quote from him I'm going to show you. This is him describing being in the film.
I didn't even know it was a game. It was my kids that told me. Well, I said, "What's your next film?" "I'm doing Super Mario Brothers." "Oh, that's the game." "Oh, what?" "Yeah, here. And this is you." And I saw this thing jumping up and down. I thought, I used to play King Lear.
Oh, bless. Oh, bless.
Now,
I've been there.
what do we think of his performance as Mario?
It's shocking to, like, of course I know he's English and like, but like it's shocking seeing that clip and being like, right, like he is acting as a Brooklyn plumber and nailing it. Like he really is. He doesn't have many levels to, as I said, like he's kind of fifth business in the movie that has the title of his name in it, but like he doesn't have levels to play, but he's great at playing them. I believe this man cleans toilets for a living. Like, you know, like I believe that he is just sort of disgruntled and over his head, but not interested in any of this either. Like, and he nails it, I think.
Yeah. I think if I had a critique of performance from Hoskins, it would just be what he would have had to do in Loop. Because anytime it's like an ADR section, I was like, you're a little less invested now.
Yeah, sure. That's true.
You can hear it in the truck scenes in particular. I was like, ooh, this is a phone-in day. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, I just think, I like that he got to lead a movie like this. You don't see people that look like him in movies like this very often.
And he looks very sexy. He looks very sexy across the entire film, and Mario should be sexy.
I agree. He did accuse Rocky Morton of pouring hot coffee on an extra.
Holy shit!
Rocky
or something, or
Rocky Morton's version of events is that he was trying to dirty up one of the costumes, and he did ask, and it wasn't hot. But I think it was like warm and surprising, and I don't know. And I think part of the story is that he was pouring it on, and they were wearing like reptile prosthetics, and it kind of got through. It doesn't seem like anyone knew what they were doing at times on this, but yeah. So he did not have a great time. Someone who had a better time making the film was our John Leguizamo.
You could tell. You can tell.
Yeah, he's having fun.
Yeah, he had been in stuff. He was very known in the kind of comedy and improv worlds. He was doing plays, things like that. But he does cite this as his big breakout. He's very baby-faced in it.
So young.
Is this before or after? Is Tu Wong Fu after this? Tu Wong
Fu would be after this because it was 95.
Yeah. And when is Spawn? Spawn is 96?
No, because Spawn was after Tu Wong Fu.
Okay.
So, but it might have still been 95. But I remember it was after Tu Wong Fu.
Yeah, I mean, he was just delighted to be cast, basically. He also dated Samantha Mathis and said that was, one of the other highlights of being in the film is that they, like I said, they really bonded. And I don't think they dated for too long, but they all seemed to be.
They have tremendous chemistry, right? Like
they really do. Yeah. They're hot together.
When you watch the movie again, you're like, I think it's been 36 hours, maybe since they met, and it's like they have to say "I love you" at the end of this movie, and it's like, yeah, okay, I
bought it. I bought it. Yeah,
you went on one date with your brother there, but okay, sure.
Yeah, but it was Bob Hoskins, so
yeah, right.
One thing I find funny is that in so many of the interviews around this film, when he's doing the press junket, he has a mustache and he looks great in it. And as a kid, I was so confused why Luigi didn't have a mustache. Now
we were so anti-mustache, right? No, I'm not even joking. Like it was like because it became so associated with the queer culture that you can't. To this day, people still are like, "Oh, a creepy mustache." It's like, do you think about the semiotics of why you're calling a mustache creepy? And like, I do think you cannot have a leading man with a mustache in the 90s. I don't think.
No, not in 93 in particular. No.
Yeah.
He is quoted as saying, "You always see a lot of Italians playing Latin people, like Al Pacino did in Scarface. Now it's our turn."
Fuck yeah, John. That's. I love that. Good for him.
And correct me if I'm wrong, because this is not in the director's cut, but I do seem to remember the released cut says he's adopted, right? Like that is. Yes. That is. So he doesn't have to be Italian by birth either, right?
No. They really race over it. Like they mention offhand, I think it seems more to like explain age difference or whatever. It does not feel like it's part of the story. Like
no, it seems incidental. You're just supposed to be like, these two are, for all intents and purposes, brothers, and don't think any more about it.
I prefer to think of it as an attempt to do an Italian Latino Catholic alliance film.
John Leguizamo actually criticized the 2023 Illumination movie Super Mario Brothers for casting non-Italians as Mario and Luigi.
Yeah.
Charlie Day is a quarter Italian, I believe.
I like Charlie Day in it. I don't.
Yes, I like that. Yes.
I think Chris Pratt is. Why are we doing this? Why do I have to keep watching Chris Pratt be the voice of everything?
Have you seen have you seen any of the like PR for the new movie? Because
no, is he just cut? Did they just not?
No, it's just that like 2023 Chris Pratt was like, you know, he was having a moment, I suppose, or like when he was cast a few years before, he seems so like checked out and just like, why am I still doing this? Whereas Charlie Day is like, I'm in a Mario movie, let's go. John Leguizamo says that the worse things got on set, the more they partied, and does seem to have been drunk in a lot of the scenes.
Okay.
Now, he did break Bob Hoskins' hand because Mario was actually wearing a flesh-colored cast for quite a bit of
I did not know that.
The film. So they decided to do all of their own stunts. And I don't know if that's because they couldn't afford stunt doubles, but all the driving around New York is like John Leguizamo, and he was tearing it up, and the door of the van slammed on Bob Hoskins' hand during that. So
the door didn't close, right? That's crazy. That's not Leguizamo's fault.
It's not his fault. I don't think Bob blames him, but yeah.
No, I think Bob Hoskins' blame is well documented.
Let's talk a little bit about Dennis Hopper. I'm going to show you a clip of him speaking about this film.
Okay.
Called Super Mario Brothers, and my 6-year-old son at the time, he's now 18. At the time, he said, Dad, I think you're probably a pretty good actor, but why did you play that terrible guy, King Koopa, in the Super Mario Brothers? And I said, well, Henry, I did that so you could have shoes. And he said, Dad, I don't need shoes that bad.
Yes.
What do we want to say about Dennis?
It is not... He doesn't give himself over to it, is kind of one of the things. Unlike Leguizamo, he's not having fun. No. He's good at, obviously, I don't think, in fact, he may be the greatest scenery chewer in cinema history, right? Like Blue Velvet, like we know the man can eat a scene. The fun never quite kicks in. I do think part of the problem is the script seems to have been whittled out of its wit. He makes interesting choices, I think. Like, one of the things I find really interesting about King Koopa, I don't think he's ever Bowser in this, is, to me, this is one of the many movies that is about Donald Trump before we really knew. Like, the aesthetics of Trump are here. Like, the King Koopa hair is like Max Headroom's hair, but it is also this sort of bleachy Trump look. He is sort of the mayor / main real estate autocrat of the world. It is a very New York world. It is literally, we see the globe. It's just New York. And desert. Like, and he is that sort of prescient 90s thing where Donald Trump for a minute is the villain of every movie. Like Gremlins is the other one that this thing, like you were talking, Hamish, about like the gritty New York, the sort of slimy New York that sort of dominates the 90s. And this character is always in it. And they're always kind of a version of Trump. It's even to the point, I know he's doing it because he's thinking about him as a T-Rex, but he's doing the Donald Trump arms the whole time. Like there is something, and like the way his family, like all these cousins and like relations sort of run the government too. That interests me.
I mean, he says that he's descended from the Tyrannosaurus Rex, of course.
Yeah.
And to me, that's like, he's kind of an evolutionary Nepo baby. Like he's inherited the Tyrant Lizard King title. And that's what puts him in charge. And there's definitely some like profile shots where he looks so Trumpy. Like the hair is the right color and everything. But it's one of those things where people think like, oh, did this predict anything? I'm like, no, Trump was just going around saying, I'm going to be the president someday. Yeah. Like a lot.
And it's a land grab, right? Like that's what he's doing, right? Like he wants to invade. He's out of resources. He has depleted Dino Hatton and he wants more resources. It's very familiar. They've
got oil in the real world. And so he's going to try and do whatever,
which is literally the plot, right? Like,
yeah,
that is kind of the cool production design choice of the movie, is that like the dinosaurs were shunted into a parallel universe where there were no dinosaurs extincted, so there is no oil. Everything is electrical in the movie, and they're struggling to power everything. It's like this amazing production, like that when Fiona Shaw falls into that electrical cage, it's because everything's on go-karts, like because there's no oil to power things. Amazing.
It is amazing. There was drafts where that was much more at the forefront, and this is a thing that even if this film is not successful in some ways, it actually has things to say, which I can't say about the modern ones. Like, there's
the Disney one just is like, it just dissolves like cotton candy. Like, there's no anything in it to me, and like this one has so much tooth to it.
Yeah, it invites you to try and work out what this world is all about.
Because there's like a picture of Koopa, and it's like the environmentalist we need. That tells so much of a story in just production design that I don't need dialogue for. It's really brilliant.
Or even in the opening prologue with Daisy's mother, when we see him, he's not the slick executive. He's a general, right? He's got the full flag on his chest. Like, there's so many moments where we sense the frame just. There's story we never find out Lena's deal. We never find out why she knows so much about Daisy's mom and seems really obsessed with her, right? Like, there's this fun, sapphic energy coming off Lena in this movie. It creates this amazing canvas and then tells its tight little story and then lets that canvas sort of exist. Like, when Daisy shows up at the end, it's like, you won't believe what happens. Like, yeah, I believe there's more stories to tell about this world, for sure.
Truly.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about Daisy, Samantha Mathis. John Leguizamo and her did date during the making of this film. She shortly after dated River Phoenix, but she was also the vice president of SAG-AFTRA for a while.
Cool.
So she continues to work occasionally. How do we feel about her as Princess Daisy?
I had fun with her.
Yeah, it's not a character that gets a lot to. She's literally like the archetype of like, oh, the princess has been captured. You have to go save the princess. But for what she gets to do, she has like a real yearning in the film. Like, I believe when she stands up to the mafia guy, I believe when she. Going toe-to-toe in a scene with Fiona Shaw is no joke, right? And she holds her own. Like, I feel sort of the endangered ingenue of her. The Yoshi stuff is weirdly touching. I don't know.
I agree. I sort of hate it, but she's really good at it. She won me over.
Mm-hmm. Also, that final dress is so pretty. Like, there's something really lovely about that like chiffon sort of sheer with just a little bit of the spikiness, jewels on the shoulder. It feels of a piece with the kind of cyberpunk princess aesthetic that the movie is developing.
Yeah, and I actually buy her like wanting to stay there, which is a thing that happens in a lot of movies where I'm like, why do you want to stay there? But I think the fact that she has so many unanswered questions, she doesn't share a scene with her dad. We can talk about that. Did you catch that cameo?
No, I saw the man, but I didn't recognize who it was.
Oh, wow. That's Lance Henriksen, Bishop from Aliens. So his cameo was a favor to a producer, but he really committed. He read his lines and he was like, oh, so I've been like a mushroom for like 10 years or whatever. So he brought his own cornflakes to set so that when he awakes and coughs out some cornflakes, he was like, I should be filled with like dust and stuff.
Good for him.
Also, great costume, that like classic Ermine King thing. It's so good.
He is interviewed on this behind the scenes documentary, and he says, one of the best jobs I ever did, because as I was sitting in that throne, I saw the most beautiful woman I've ever seen, and then I married her. And he's talking about the makeup artist who he did end up marrying for a while. I don't think they were together too long, but he thinks fondly about it. We've danced around it. Let's talk about Fiona Shaw. Lena.
Incredible.
I don't know what's really happening with this character, but the whole movie could just be her, and I would have been very happy.
Yeah.
She really also is like the only one that has no coherent antecedent in any of the games or anything, right? Like even Big Bertha is a big fish. Like that's a character. Iggy and Spike are kind of versions of character. They're named after characters. They're related to Koopa. Like we can kind of try and I don't know what Lena is. Like she has kind of a Birdo energy to me sometimes.
Yeah, yes. I've always wanted them to introduce like, you know, Bowser Jr.'s mum or whatever. But I like that she's backstabbing. You know, she's actually the primary antagonist for portions of the film. I made a note of the shot of her like running down a tunnel screaming, "My time has come, the universe is mine." And I just with full Frankenstein hair, and I'm like, perfect. She's having a great time.
She has again some very beautiful costumes in this, and like the ones beat for beat, the ones I think are the most fun. Like Koopa gets to be styled in like leathery, scaly menswear, but it's quite subtle, whereas hers are all just so great. Every hairstyle, every wig is amazing.
Yeah.
And as you say, like we kind of joked about how the film has like had a feminist pass on the script, but when you actually think about it, like Luigi is the hero in that he is saving the princess, but Daisy is the one who like literally goes through the hero's journey of like finding out you're the lost princess, and like it has the opposite problem of most scripts, especially 90s scripts. Like there's always like the main male plot, and then the female plot is like this boring subplot. But actually, Mario and Koopa fighting on that bridge is incidental to the actual important thing, which is Fiona Shaw putting that crystal in and Daisy realizing it's King Arthur with the stone, right? I am the one true heir kind of thing. So it's really strangely structured. And Fiona Shaw gets to be the villain of all of it.
Yeah, and Mario and Koopa fighting on the bridge does seem to take a long time because they like do it twice. But I do enjoy it. And I think, I mean, she's not the only female character. We also, of course, have Daniela, Mario's beau.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about Bertha.
well, obviously, saving best till last. But I loved Daniela. I think she was fun. I think it's funny that Mario just has a girlfriend and there's no drama between them. And I love her energy when she's like, "Oh, Daisy, we've just been kidnapped. How you doing, sweetheart?" I just think...
I wish she was what's her name from the games now. The one who's the Donkey Kong girlfriend, right? What's her name?
Yeah.
Pauline? Yeah. I wish we could ADR it to Pauline. That would make me very happy.
That actually would be brilliant because she has kind of got a Pauline energy.
Yeah. In look and in origin, right? Like Pauline is also human, I think. Yeah.
I only think that Daisy is in this film because they couldn't justify calling her Peach. Or Toadstool.
Right. They do call her Princess Toadstool as a joke at one point. Yeah, like it's like a punny joke name someone gives her. I hadn't thought of that. She's Daisy. She's not Peach. Right.
I'll say she's a little bit more Daisy than she is Peach, though, in the character as designed, so I like her being Daisy.
And she ends up with Luigi, they're always paired together.
Oh, true enough. Yeah.
I mean, they're paired together, but, you know, Luigi and Bowser are the
Bowigi. That's the main problem with the Disney. It is a Disney movie, right?
It's Illumination, DreamWorks.
DreamWorks is Disney wearing a fancy hat, isn't it? I don't know.
It's all Disney. I'm sorry.
We all work for Disney wearing a fancy hat. But but yeah, I feel like the main problem with that movie is like the architecture of it is like, oh, Bowser and Luigi are in love, and it just can't ever go there.
Right.
And it's like, so neither of those characters gets to do anything interesting.
What do you want to tell me about Big Bertha?
I adore her.
She's amazing.
Incredible. At first I was a little uncomfortable with her introduction, but then she sung and was amazing.
She's one of the few characters in this film who seems to just have a change of heart based on how like charming Mario is.
Bob Hoskins.
Like she's completely wronged, but she's like, "Get in here, guys, I'll protect you. Take my magic boots."
She has more to do in the director's cut because that is the scene that suffers the most. Mostly it's not more beats, it's just more sexy dancing of the two of them. Like it's longer, we get a much more of a sense that this is like her club. There's like Grace Jones is playing. Like it's very. Nice. I don't know if the tracks that are in the director's cut are temp tracks or what, but like it has like Got the Power and Love Is the Drug playing, and it's like, this is actually a fun snapshot / like hyper distortion of like the New York club scene at the moment. Like the textures of their garments and like the spiking. The actors are clearly just like the gayest dancers you've ever seen in your life. That dinosaur dance that they really wanted to be a dance hit in this movie. It doesn't. It does laugh at her, I guess. If you call a character Big Bertha and she's a fat character, it's like, okay, that's not great. But like, she is kind of serving, you know? Like,
that's the thing is, I think we're allowed to let her be sexy, and we let her be sexy with Bob Hoskins, the ultimate accessory. So, I mean, I'm not really mad.
They cut the kisses, but they left in the bit where Mario just like fully motorboats her.
Yes.
Like, get the MacGuffin, Hamish. It's okay to motorboat if you're getting a secret stone.
Francesca P. Roberts is her name. Hasn't been in a huge amount, but has been a working actor for a long time and appears in a lot of procedurals and one-off roles and things. Good. So you may see her now and again. I just wanted to I wanted to mention Toad is in this film, technically. The producers wanted a real singer, and so they wanted Tom Waits. And
okay.
We ended up with Mojo Nixon, who his manager pitched him to the producers as a third-rate Tom Waits who's half the price. That's your manager speaking. Hey, it worked. He got the job. This is one of those things where as a kid, I was like, wait, Toad was in the film when I was reading up about it. And that's Toad.
He's never a mushroom is the thing that makes. He has the swirl, which is not really a Toad thing.
Not really his thing.
We see the swirl on his head, and then he has it as a Goomba, and I guess.
But yeah, he becomes the main Goomba.
Is Toad musical in the? I mean, they all kind of make singing sounds, I guess, but I don't remember Toad being particularly.
No.
You know, though, if I was going to cast a bard of the main four, I would probably pick Toad. I probably would.
That's correct. Actually, you've nailed it. I think that's what it is.
The aforementioned
big bard.
The aforementioned Pauline has now become the de facto singer.
Oh, that's right. That's true. Right. Pauline is in charge of all music now.
But yeah, does become the main Goomba, and the Goomba designs are another element that's mocked, but there's nothing else in cinema quite like them. And as a kid, I definitely remember them freaking me out a little bit.
There's a lot of that. I was freaked out by this movie as a kid. I think that I didn't understand. Kids don't understand camp. That's kind of a thing. Like, I remember being scared of the Batman 66 show. Like, you can't, as a child, understand. There's like you can kind of feel like there's a joke you're not getting, is kind of how it feels to me.
Right.
And it is true. The producers were right to be like, kids are going to be freaked out. I was, but like, kids like being freaked out. Like, so much of the 90s aesthetic is like the goop of the Ninja Turtles, and like Batman kicked off because like kids like being a little scared. And I think this movie kind of plays to that. Like, there's something really scary to me about that de-evolution chair to this day. Like, I'm still freaked out by it.
It's scary.
I mean, and again, if we're gonna take it to the Trump idea, but it's like we're literally we're literally trying to kind of de-educate people so that they are subordinate to us. And I find the fact that it's like never reversed as far as we know on screen.
Very strange. They do have that ability. It's like Koopa gets like microdosed with the de-evolution and he never undoes it.
Never really
like,
comes to anything.
I think it's partly like there's a part of us that doesn't want like Toad to be Mojo Nixon again, right? Like, we're kind of in love with the cute harmonica wearing Goomba, but you want to hope Daisy put him in that chair after the movie, like, right? Like,
and got him all the way back to Mojo, and they were like, maybe just another second or two. Just give it up a little. Not quite to Fisher Stevens using big words, but just give him a little bit more.
Yeah.
I've always wondered if there's a conscious decision in the fact that some of the Goombas have round heads and some have kind of thin heads. I don't know if they're meant to be.
We see the 3 settings on the de-evolution machine.
Oh,
so
that's what it is.
And the later it goes, the more human looking they are. So if it's set to Cretaceous, you get the human skull ones.
Cool.
Set all the way earlier, you get the more lizardy ones.
Well, thank you very much. I made one funny thing is that, you know, the scene in the elevator where they like make them rock, that was completely made up on set, like on the day.
It is twice as long in the director's cut.
Oh my god, why? The director's cut sounds awesome, but like that was a good cut. Yeah.
They were just like, in the script it just said they take the elevator, and they made the elevator set, and they're like, what happens when they are in the elevator? So they came up with that, and then made it a plot point later on, which I found kind of funny. Quickly, do we have anything to say about Iggy and Spike Cooper, the Cooper cousins? Fisher Stevens and Richard Edson.
It's wild seeing Fisher Stevens in this role. This is a strange thing to see him doing.
You think so?
Well, you know what? Well asked, Anthony. I don't actually.
Like, to me, he's hackers, right? Like, hackers, Fisher Stevens would do this. Yeah. Like, I mean, the Koopalings were a big deal in the 2 games that surround this movie. I love the Koopa kids. Spike is not a Koopa kid, right?
No, like, Spike is with the guy who spits up a ball and throws it.
Yeah.
The cousins thing feels like it's like this undigested. They're too old to be his kids. We don't want to think about how he has kids. Right. So we've got cousins, and like it never quite lands. I never find them particularly funny, but it moves the plot around, I guess. Like, I don't know.
In a different movie a few years later, this feels like it would have been Wario and Waluigi or something.
Sure. Yeah.
You're exactly right, Hamish. You're exactly right.
But also, this is the early 90s. This is the peak of like bumbling, like twosomes going after the heroes. This is very Wet Bandits coded.
Yeah.
You need someone for the main guy to yell at, right? Like, you need Bob the Goon. You need Pain and Panic for Hercules. You need the guy that they swat and like, how dare you go do the thing that's like, well, why don't you do it? And like, it never. If you want to watch their rap, go check that out. If you want more content,
immediately after this recording, we'll be doing that. I was clenched. I was nervous. I was in the crash position. Hamish, for you to tell me that like they were considering Pauly Shore for this role, because it feels very of that sort of ilk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm sure he's devastated he missed out on the chance.
Pauly Shore playing a super genius, that would have been cute.
That would have been fun. For the second half of the movie, it would have been kind of a wild swing.
Richard Edson, who plays Spike, is featured in this behind-the-scenes documentary a lot. He's definitely the like cast member who would give them all the time in the world. He brings up his he's got his Spike action figure. He's actually, at the end of the documentary, he has a Spike action figure.
I don't remember Spike's outfits. I can't imagine who bought a Spike action figure, which I guess kind of says everything about the character.
Richard Edson. This was made for an N of 1.
And look, Nintendo got 100% of that sale. So
there you go.
Are there any other things we wish to talk about with this film? Any moments we didn't get to cover?
I mean, I love this movie. It is. I could talk about this movie for the rest of my life, and will.
This is definitely the thing we've covered on this season of Super Mario Moment that I just know I'll be watching a few more times in my life.
Yeah.
I do find it.
I'm just thinking about other things that happen in the director's cut that do not happen in the finished film. One of them, so there's the running gag of like how Koopa is waiting for his pizza.
Yes.
Remember, he orders a pizza and keeps asking where his pizza is.
Yeah.
The finale of the movie, which I don't think is how it works in the correct me if I'm wrong. So I was watching the director's cut last night, and he's killed and everyone celebrates. in the director's cut, they're celebrating to the Mario song. Dun, 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 dun,
yes,
and
they're
it's
not
very
in the release
long.
version.
Like Daisy and Luigi make out in it. The payoff of Mario and Luigi having brought joy to the Goombas pays off, where they're dancing again. Like they're all dancing together. Yoshi and Toad, Mojo are like hanging out. Well, it's not the Mojo actor; it's the Goomba. But the final payoff of it is the pizza delivery truck drives through the street, and that long-haired teen is like, "Here's your fucking pizza," and like throws it in the slime of King Koopa.
That's hilarious. That's amazing. That's hilarious.
God, I wish I had what others had. I wish for a day like that to come. No, I do find all of that very funny. I mean, the idea of turning the villain into primordial goop is quite metal. There's lots of imagery in this that's quite metal. Like even just the very start, like thunder, lightning storm, bringing an egg to a church, being like hatched in front of nuns. Like everything is just so like, you know, hey kids, want to go see the Mario movie? It's like a real education.
It's metal, just like lots of candles, full nun habits. Like there's a real like baby Jesus tableau. The whole thing is doing this like King Herod massacre of the innocents thing. Like Koopa's trying to find every kid born in Brooklyn 20 years ago, and he's like pulling all those poor girls chain smoking their cigarettes in the tower because he's trying to find this one girl. And like the nun stuff, Luigi's wearing a cornuto the whole time. They keep talking about believing in miracles and faith. Like there's this weird undigested Catholic stuff in this movie that I don't quite understand to what end. But also, like, as you say, like, to me, it really is like baby's first dystopia. Like, it's edgy, it's gritty, but it is in dialogue with like Blade Runner and all of this kind of cyberpunk stuff of that moment, including like many of the same production people. And I do think as much as it can be a little bit lobotomized as a script, and it does kind of sometimes feel like we're just getting Mario and Luigi to the next visual set piece of riding a mattress or being in the desert, but like at a production level, it's untouchable, I think. I wish more movies like this.
I would go to this at Universal Studios in a heartbeat, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Like, this is a set I want to walk around in.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do think there's one fault I have with the film, which is Alan Silvestri's score.
Oh, yes.
I think I'm like fond of now just because I'm so used to it. But Alan Silvestri, obviously very famous composer, and he does his thing in this movie, but you can feel him trying to like lighten the tone and put in this kind of goofy kind of, you know, whatever music. And
is it like the Barber of Seville? We keep getting that, like, they're Italian and there's this little bit of this, like
yeah. There is a fan edit of the movie called the Industrial Cut that adds kind of industrial music and tries to give it the whole film a much kind of grittier kind of vibe. That's worth checking out. I've seen a few clips and I didn't even like notice it in the best possible way. It kind of like fit what was going on.
Yeah, it would be nice if this movie was like, when is Mortal Kombat? 95? The movie?
That sounds right.
Yeah, like Mortal Kombat really changes how a movie can be scored. Like it really is sort of the under-celebrated thing about how revolutionary that movie was. And it would be cool if this had done the classic bright Super Mario music and remixed it into like these industrial sounds. Like that would have been really fun and really fit. Especially since the whole movie's like, we didn't talk about the pitch of this movie that is never actually really expressed, which is like, the idea is that this is the real adventure Mario and Luigi had that has been kidified and misunderstood by the Japanese executives at Nintendo. Like, the joke is still kind of present in the movie and in the post-credits sequence where we see the Nintendo people being pitched on Iggy and Spike's adventure. it's very obviously like not a great joke in that it's like, once again, like Japanese culture like kidifies things, especially since the fact is so completely the opposite, right? Like they were like, blank check, make the weirdest fucking movie you want, we don't care. Like
and also they see like Japanese movies, it's just like
but when you think about it like that, it's like a fun project to think about. Like, oh, if you described a weird turtle-headed man with a big spiky jacket, you might eventually get to a Koopa. If you describe the final Bowser battle from Super Mario World, where he's a big dinosaur in a like bucket, you might get to that game, right? Like, that's a fun game to play when you're watching this movie.
Yeah.
It's a lot of, I think, fun ideas, and I think the world wasn't ready, and we'll never get a movie quite like this again. I can't imagine Nickelodeon letting some experimental like filmmaker make a SpongeBob movie with complete carte blanche to make it whatever they want.
Gritty cyberpunk SpongeBob.
I only wish, I kind of wish Bob Hoskins at least knew how much some people like this film. And the endless delight it brings us many years later.
It does.
It did mean that we didn't get another Mario movie for 30 years. And next week we will be discussing the Super Mario Brothers movie from 2023.
I'm not on that one.
I have to watch that this week at some point and then watch the new one. So
I like things about it. I just wish it said anything at all, which is the exact opposite of this movie, right? Like this movie is all big swings, and that one
it's almost saying too much.
Every scene bunt in that one, right? Like it is the spiritual sequel to this movie in that it is like, what if you made a Mario movie and took no risks at all, right? Like,
they're very much reactions to each other. It's very The Force Awakens in some ways, or like it's like or even in a different way, a kind of a Batman Begins versus a Batman and Robin. It's like the new movie is very much a response. Let's see if we can find anything to talk about in terms of what it has to say next week. Anthony, thank you so much for coming on, and we could honestly talk about this film for hours and hours and hours. I would love to, but we need to let you go and enjoy the Oscars.
Well, thank you for having me. It is, as you may have intuited, one of my favorite works of art ever made. It's like Paradise Lost and this. Those are the
yes.
So.
The thing is, I just know you're not joking, and that's why I love you. Please,
it was lovely talking to you kids about it.
What would you like to plug? You've got so many things.
Oh, I don't even know. I don't know when. I don't know. I've got my book Dayspring. If you want to read about gay Jesus nonsense, go check out that. I just finished a run for Marvel called Avengers Academy. We just got the GLAAD Award for that last week. So click on over to that. And then there's some stuff for them soon, just a little baby project, 6 pages that I don't think they've announced, so I don't think I can announce it. And then I'm writing another book, and then I'm doing my podcast. Follow me on everywhere at Mea Koopa. Again, a bad Super Mario pun. MEAKOOPA. If you've enjoyed a movie about Mario that weirdly blends in Catholicism, guess what? I'm that person.
that's just you all the time.
David, where can people find you?
Yeah, you can find me online almost anywhere as Dmuma. That's DMUMA. And you can join me in my other podcasts. I do one with my friend Derek where we talk about high concept and experimental episodes of television called Gimmicks. And then with my friends Marilee and Tyler, we're visiting all of the scary things that I have shielded myself from, and they are forcing me to engage with them on Fear Coded, but it's okay because I talk about how gay everything is all the time. Hamish, what about you?
This is my only podcast, but I have a book out called Go Man, Champion of Earth, which is a sort of kaiju, autism, graphic novels, superhero thing. I also have a show on Netflix called Dead End Paranormal Park that you can watch if you feel like you enjoy shows which don't have endings. Super Mario Moment is available here on YouTube and also on audio forms wherever you get your podcasts. We are a proud member of the Glitterjaw Queer Podcasting Collective. And thank you again, Anthony. We will see you next week, everyone, for more discussions. We'll have a big deep dive on Chris Pratt's career. And until next time,
So long, gay Bowsers.
Bye.